Welcome to Center of Light Radio. Yo, it's been a while since I did an interview on Center of Light Radio. Christmas holidays, holiday season. I hope you got your holidays on, y'all. Welcome to Center of Light, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Strap in. Actually, take the strap off. Riding in the car, put the seatbelt on. Riding in life, take the seatbelt off. We're going for... I got this new facial hair thing going on. I'm growing my guru beard. We're going for a ride tonight, as we always do on Center of Light, be it Center of Light TV or radio, video. I have a phenomenal guest that came highly recommended. His name is Carlo S Carnevalini. We're going to get to that in just a minute. I want to give you a couple of adverts before we bring my powerful, experienced guest on tonight. Since he was 5, he had experience with others. It's real. A lot. In fact, this is a perfect setup for a presentation I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a presentation titled Spirituality. You ever heard that word before? No, you didn't. I made it up. I'm going to play all with the idea of spirituality versus spirituality. And you look at all these critters on the screen. They all have a point, a meaning. Can anyone figure out the elephant and the donkey? Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, right? Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., I am going to be doing a presentation on spirituality. I love doing presentations. It helps me to connect with you, to connect with Source. I want to say hello, everyone on YouTube land. In YouTube land, I am going to be shifting all of my work to YouTube as of really soon. If you want to continue to be a part of Center of Light Radio, I'm still going to post it on Facebook every time I do a presentation, but you won't be notified. I don't think so. I'm shifting my work to YouTube. It's where technology is going. It's where I have to go. If you want to have that YouTube experience, which is quite cool, I just posted a link into the forum. It says YouTube Center of Light Radio. Click on it. It'll take you to the room. Check it out. You can see everybody there. You can see everyone's comments all at one time. It's a pretty cool experience. If you don't have an account, I'm not sure it will let you chat, but I think it'll let you experience. I'd love to see you over there. And if you do go there, and if you're regular here in Center of Light Radio or Center of Light, and you usually come in via Facebook, say, "Hi, Keith, I made it." Something to that effect that lets me know you have made the transition. All right, so tomorrow night we're going to be talking about spirituality, all the redonkulousness that's happening in the world, as well as the beautiful things, always. It's just definitely not a focusing on the negativity. No, sir. It's not about only focusing on the positivity. It's about being in the moment, what helps us to see things beyond the negative and the positive. So what would be beyond the negative and positive? That's something you have to experience for yourself, and it's called expansion. It's called the playground. It's called the garden. It's called the soul. That's my gig. That's what I'm into. Let's get down to some Center of Light Radio beeswax. Let me tell you about my guest tonight. We are right on time. Let me get his bio. Also, Center of Light. I've interviewed Gavin Lee Davies a few years ago. And he liked my writing so well, and I'm honored. He got me a book deal with John Hunt Publishing. 6 books under John Hunt Publishing. Worldwide distribution. That is going to be released. This book here. Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. That's Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. July 31st, 2020. 3,500. If you want to know what 3,500 is, send me an inbox. So leave it in here. Keith, what's 3,500? I could tell you now, but I don't want to. Welcome to Center of Light Radio. Let's get down to some beeswax. Tonight on Center of Light Radio, my guest is Carlo S Carnevalini. He was born in Managua, Nicaragua in 1962 at 5 years old. Hello? Listen to this. 5 years old, Carlo had his first extraterrestrial experience with short grays on his grandparents' farm called Los Chaguites. Chaguites. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. His paranormal and extraterrestrial encounters continued throughout his youth and into his teen years, with most of his family and friends belittling or debunking him for such strange stories. After a civil war broke out in Nicaragua in 1979, Carlo escaped to Los Angeles. Congrats, bro. I'm happy for you about that. But his experiences followed him there. He had both dark visions of demons and devils, as well as epiphanies of angels and the divine creator. Both of which deeply, of course it did, both of which deeply affected his devout Catholic upbringing. Carlo married and moved to Miami, Florida, but his disturbing, it's the word he chose, disturbing experiences continued with visits to motherships, etheric dimensions, and unknown planets. Often, ET beings would give him cautionary messages to bring back to Earth that mankind is too violent, excuse me, and must change its ways by his own desire not to drive his beloved wife crazy with his continuous experiences. I'm assuming the relationship, by mutual consent of a 14-year marriage. Today he lives a quiet, I love quiet, a quiet life outside LA, writing his memoirs and books about his lifelong exposure to the unexplained paranormal and extraterrestrial dimensions. He is planning volume 2 of Into the Dimensions, and that is what we are speaking about tonight. That is our title. Carlo, I do not have, my bro, a web address on you. Welcome to Center of Light Radio. Are you there, my friend? I'm not. Yeah, he's here with me on the Skype call. Carlo, I don't see nor hear you, my friend. I hope he's not aboard a Mothercraft right now. Carlo, let me send him a message. There he is. Oh, he's calling me.
Hey,
We must have been disconnected, my brother. Welcome to Center of Light Radio. Great to have you, sir.
thank you. I'm sorry about that.
You will never be back.
I was
How
very alert about you.
how are you doing, brother? Things are well.
Thank God I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm doing great.
I often, Carlo, forgive me, and I will play the rule by the rules. I often follow the protocol of my guests and their attendants and associates, and here's the list of questions that is generated for the show, and we stick to them or not, and blah blah blah. I have I have so much I want to ask you because I've had my own experiences aboard craft for many, many years. I personally, my friend, was never taken beyond my free will. I was never per se used the word abducted. It was always joyful. But that being said, this happened to you at 5 years old. At 5 years old, did it seem natural for you, or at 5 years old, were you just completely blown away?
It was natural, even though I never had the experience before. But I think they put you under this. Um, they put you under this condition where you can't say yes or no. So to me, it was natural because it's like you are sedated, you know, and and you have no say. You just go and join them, whatever they want to meet, and they want to meet me halfway. Now that I went through this a long time ago, I have found out that it's not either you being abducted or that you willingly accept. It's just that something like natural that comes to you, and then you go because it's like a natural thing. It's like we were made to uh, to have this contact with these beings, and there's nothing you can do.
Many people will say, spiritualists, abductees, a little bit of both, people who never had either. They
Hmm.
will say that it's likely we made a contract or an agreement, even if the experience happens to seem a little gray, no pun intended, a little dark, a little nerving. Did it feel like that for you? That at somewhere in your existence, probably before you came to this planet, and as far as a human being, that we did say we were going to hang out, and so this is now happening? Or did you ever feel like, though it felt natural, did you feel violated? Did you feel taken or beyond your will?
Not at that age, not then. Then it was like you were living this fairy tale, and you were part of it, and you just know that you have to cooperate. You have no other choice. It's like you have no choice to decide. But the funny thing about what happened to me is that I was very small, and I communicated with these beings outside of my own mind. It was like uh, we went to another level of communication, and so it was natural to me. I I never had this thing where I knew that I have to that I understood adults, and these people, these beings, they were like very intelligent, and you can tell, you can feel it uh, in your own being. You can feel that these people were more elevated than I was, of course. Not only that, but being a child, but they put me in another level of my own mind, like outside of my brain, because your brain is like a little box, and you cannot go anywhere because it's limited. This is the the only thing you can use to process your intelligence and your communication, and is in this little box, and you cannot go further. But they took me out of this box into another level, and we could communicate with each other at the same level. And I was very fascinated about that, because being so small, I noticed that. I noticed that I wasn't in the level that I wasn't limited, and also that we were one mind. The three beings that I encountered the first time in my life, they had the same, we were at the same level of communication. And that was really amazing.
Were these beings just being nice to you, and by nature they're not nice? Or are these beings nice in nature? Because from many different sources, and like you, well, not like you, but like most people, because you have direct experience. But a lot of people have, I have heard that the little grays are AI that were created by the draconians. I'm not saying that you're into all this. Basically, I'm trying to find my question, and that the tall grays are really the nice ones. But did you ever have any trouble with these beings at all, or were they truly supportive of your life? And
Well, the first three beings that I encountered, they were not gray. I mean, you call them gray for the way they look, but they were like albino color. They were like really, really white, and their skin was like synthetic. It was very fine skin, and translucent at some point because of the light that I was experiencing. There was the moon was on top of my grandmother's farm, and that's what I thought when I was a kid. I thought I was looking at the moon. Of course, it was a spaceship. I find out later with my findings and my investigation and all that, I realized it was a spaceship. A spaceship.
So Carlo, you were physically taken. You weren't just like having a some sort of hyper dream dimensional
No.
experience. You were physically removed.
Yes, and
Wow.
the only alien that I knew at that age, because I was born in the 1960s, it was the little green alien from the Flintstones. Remember that little green alien around the Flintstones? That's
Yeah.
the only thing for me. It was an alien, which I didn't know what an alien was back then. But when I saw these beings the first time, I thought they were part of the Casper Friendly Ghost, his friends or something. That's what I thought it was. And but then I also knew in my head, even though I was so little, I remember I said, "This is Casper is a fantasy." I mean, I knew the difference between fantasy and reality. Of course, I wasn't so sure because I was so young. But to me, I knew that that couldn't be possible. That I was talking to Casper. To me, it was impossible because I knew a little bit about the reality that I was living and the fantasy around it. So I was in that situation at that moment.
Do they still occur?
Later in life,
Yeah, are you still, sometimes we go through a transition, meaning we make contact and then we no longer need the contact in one way because it's changed to another way. Or are you still being taken? Or do you have recollection of these experiences, if I may ask such a question?
yes, I've been taken until all the way until I was in my 40s, my early 40s. I'm 57 now, so I haven't been taken for a long time, but I had the contact. You know what I'm saying? I have this contact that comes to me in my head, and they talk to me. They don't talk to me like human people do. They talk to you, putting thoughts into your head, and they're not from you. They're not from your mind because it has this real reaction uh, like a microwave going into your brain, and you know that this is not the sort of communication that can be made up by your brain, by your head, by your dreams.
Is it sort of like a whisper, but without the whisper? Like someone's whispering in your ear and you
You know,
just know it's there?
it's an understanding. Sometimes the real words, like "this is not gonna hurt." That I always heard it throughout my life. I heard "this is not gonna hurt," and it always does hurt. When they inject you or something, because they do inject you, and probably they have their purpose. Because now that I'm older, in my last experiences, because I haven't had it for a long time, but I still have this contact with them. I have this experience where they tell me this is not going to hurt, and it does hurt, and they inject you, they take you somewhere. And I never was in the position that they asked me, "Do you want to go or not?" No, I was always willing to go because I had no other choice. It's like they didn't leave me a choice. I have read other people, I have heard about other people that they asked them, "Do you want to go or not? Do you have a choice?" But not me. I didn't have any choices, but I also wasn't gonna accept. I was gonna accept regardless that my body was into a shock. Sometimes I felt that my heart was gonna break into pieces because I start shaking, like really, really frightened. But I still go. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. I still go because I know it's like you become addicted, to these experiences. You want to see and learn more about it because this is so impossible. When I was quite awake and I was being someone that had the experience, um, I sometimes I don't want to have the experience, but once that you are into the experience, you want to open your eyes bigger. So you can see, and then you, in my own head, I said, I can't believe it that I'm going through this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can't believe that I'm going through this, and many people will kill to have this experience. And I'm just having the experience. So it's like, I don't want to miss it, and then I become addicted if I haven't been
I don't think
contacted.
you miss. I don't think you're missing it. That's for sure.
Well, that's true. But when you are in the horse, you are on the horse, you want to ride the horse. So that's the way I see it. If you ask me, do you want to have an experience right now? I said no. But when you are in the experience, you say, yeah, I want to see more. I want to see what is this about. I want to hear reveal the mystery.
Tell me about your paranormal experiences. And do they work together? Do you see a
Yes,
crossfade, or they do work together? Okay, tell me about that, please.
sure. Before I was contacted by aliens, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I never forget because I'm the youngest from my family. I remember everything about my brothers and sisters when they went to school and all that, and I was still at home. So I know I was about 3 and 4 years old. They called me, voices called me, and I told my mom, "Hey, you know what? People is calling me. They call my name, and I can hear Carlo at a distance, and different voices call me." And I tell my mom, but my mom will not believe me. I was a little kid, and she says, "You better don't even hear those voices because that might be leprechauns, and they will take you away from me. So you better I don't recommend you to listen to those voices." And then I heard them, and I didn't say anything because they didn't stop. And then also I had this experience where this gentleman, like a block away from my house, died a few years before I was even born. And the guy was a sculptor, and he made these noises, but I wasn't even born. And when I was growing up, I was before 5 years old, before my experience, I can hear the noises the guy was making. And I never said anything. I just said, what's going on? What is this noises coming through the walls? And later on in life, when I was bigger, I heard stories about this neighbor that we had years before I was even born, that the guy was a sculptor and he will be sculpting at night. And people will be angry because everybody's sleeping and the guy is sculpting, and everybody wish him dead. When is this guy gonna die? And et cetera, et cetera. And the guy died eventually. And I kept hearing his noise. And I wasn't even born when the guy would die. So I have that other experience. And then I also have these experiences where I saw dead people coming through the walls in my house. And I didn't know they were dead, of course, but I know I was scared to death, and
So you have also, in fact, I have some notes open, just kind of touching base on everyone tonight. My guest on Center of Light Radio. Welcome everyone on Facebook. Welcome everyone on YouTube. It's a blessing to be a blessing and to be here with you and us together. And why are we together in this way? It's because we care about something. We care about something that means everything. And in that it's so powerful, and it brings us here simply asking questions, listening to each other. How deep do these rabbit holes go? Tonight, my guest is Carlo S Carnevalini, and the title of, say it again, please.
Carnevalini. Carnevalini.
Carnevalini.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. My apologies. We're speaking about his book, Into the Dimensions. Into the Dimensions. So you met all these different types of beings. Oh, by the way, do you have a website that you would like to inject here so our listening audience can go find out more about you or whatever it is you want to advert to these people?
I got everything on my Facebook. It's under my name, and I can put a link on the show so you can see it there.
Wonderful. So I've been around mostly beings that were of a lighter nature. I have had my share of being around beings of a darker nature. And, when I would wake up in the morning, or not in the morning, I would be woken up just to get out of the experience. And it was tough. And as I learned the art the spiritual dance, if you will, I found power. I found divine power of how to hold my own, to be centered and say, you know what? I understand what you are. You kind of spook me a little bit, but you don't have a hold on me like you used to. And if you keep visiting me once I get my belt on, you're going to wish you hadn't come. So I get all that. So you've been around ETs, both positive and negative, paranormal ghosts, demons. It can make you sweat. I see fae beings. FAE, is that fairy? What is a fae being?
Okay, these are like people think they're fantasy, like leprechauns and stuff like that. Um, I had this experience where I had contact with these beings, and I thought it was a dream. But then you realize it, like in the twilight zone, you brought something back, and I also realized that whatever you think that is a fantasy, legends, and myth, for a reason, every country has their share of the same um, evil beings or fantasy beings that we might think they're fantasy, but they're in reality. We have different um, dimensions that we don't understand and we don't know. But everything that we think is not real, it is real, including demons. And I have many of those experiences in life where to myself, it was too much already. I didn't want to have them anymore because once that you start having experiences and you accept them, because you are curious as a human being, you're curious, you want to see more, you want to hear more, and your mind doesn't process these realities.
It can't. It can't process that. The mind is not made for that. That's called consciousness. So I have had many years ago, my friend. I hung out with an alien human hybrid by the name of Nucleus 8. He's head of security for this quadrant of our galaxy, manifest in the form of a human being. And look, I'm a bullshitter, so nobody can't bullshit me. And so I know how to tell it. I was in it. I learned that this is not natural meaning. And so I was with this person for 4.5 years, done the most phenomenal things to me, through me, in front of me, took me to places, yanked me out of my body when I'm just sitting in a chair, took me aboard a starship. And then one night he introduced me to a fairy by the name of Perithnia. Then sometime later, I was aboard a craft when they were giving me an implant, to use the word, but that word's kind of dark. They wanted to make sure Keith was always okay. I got to meet some fairies, one by the name of Halo. So I know these realities are there, absolutely. Then they got the angelic kingdom, and that somewhat crosses over to the fairy kingdom. Do you feel, my bro, that why were you selected? Do you feel that you were selected to have these experiences?
I don't know if I was selected or not, but I think it's in your DNA. You are part of something that they already follow. You are a part of this family that they follow because I have investigated and I have find out through my both sides of my family, they have the same experiences before me. So it's like we are this family where they following our line, and I think it's written in our DNA because it's the only way I can tell you, because I'm not better than anybody. I'm not nobody special. I always been an ordinary guy, and I love to be ordinary, and I love to be somebody in the quiet side. But then I decided to write my books because it's like I had too many experiences. I can just die and not share what I have. That's my position now. And I know a lot of people is not going to believe it. It took a long time for my family to be next to me and tell me that they do believe me now. But because they don't believe me just because I've been nagging for years. They believe me because they start having the same experiences with me, and they have no other option than accept them. So it's like they don't accept it because of me. They accept it because they had it their own selves, their own experiences.
Do you think this phenomena is part of truly your family? Because though you might be one of the first to become to the a point of awareness about it, and now that some of your other family members are firing off and coming to, oh, this is, he's been saying this all along. Do you think that somehow on another level, it's all connected as to why you all are having this experience with this star group?
I think that everybody in my family, it's part of the same experience, but I'm different because I have the whole enchilada to myself, and they only have part of them. It's not like they have a compromise with these people. I'm the one with the compromise. I'm the one who they picked out of all of them to be like an ambassador of their reality, of these dimensions where they come from. And because I had these experiences where I might be dreaming, and then my dream stops, and that's it. You forget the dream, and tomorrow is another day, and then you have another crazy dream. My dreams are funny because my dreams, they go by chapter. Not all the time, but these special dreams that I had before, I had this dream where I start this story, the story stops, and the next day continues like a movie, like if you stop a movie and then the next day it continues on until the movie's over. And it's like, that doesn't happen to anybody that I know. I talk to people and they don't tell me these things. And here I am with a story, a whole complete story, in 1 week. And why is that happening to me? Because it's not the story, it's me in the story. I'm the one who's making the story. And like you say, they kidnap you, they take you from your body, and then you go into another body because this body, it's for this world, and you are limited to do whatever you do with this body. But then they have other bodies where they put your consciousness into the other body, and that body goes whatever. They don't need oxygen. They don't need to. It doesn't. Nothing happens to you if you go into their spacecraft, and you can travel from one world to the other, and nothing is going to happen to you. You don't need to feed human food or drink water because they have their own methods, to survive.
I want to validate you, sir. Well, something my friend Nucleus 8, who is an alien human hybrid, he's 4,740 plus years old in one life. He's head of security of this quadrant of our galaxy. He's number 8 on the board of 12. His name is Nucleus 8. Nucleus, he was grown for security. He's number 8 on the board of 12. Story goes, story goes, story goes. And so what one of the stories he told me is the way their civilization is. They have a, this is validates what you just said. They have a being that their feminine species they call them mother. And mother looks like this, whatever, 5 foot tall, slender, feminine looking gray being they call mother. If she wants to and you let her, she can literally pull you into her and an entire universe opens up.
That's amazing.
Is this what you were sort of saying? That these bodies are interchangeable through different levels of consciousness and cosmic expansion? It basically it's just portals. Everything is an opening and you can just squeeze in it, yeah?
Well, I don't know that much, to be honest with you. All I know is that they have these bodies like a suit, and you go into, they put your consciousness into this body, and you feel like you are that person, that clone, and then you do whatever you have to do, whatever you are and whatever you're supposed to do is what you do. The good thing about it is that everybody's on the same page. Everybody there in my group, I was in a group of 12. Everybody was with a couple. There's another funny thing. I knew who was a male and who was a female, and nobody had sex there. They didn't have any sex organs, and I can tell who was a female and a male. So, and there's nothing for you to realize who's a male and who's a female. Nobody is thinner than the other. There's no way you can tell who's a male and who's a female, but I knew these ones here are females and these are males. And we were all equally the same, but I knew who was a female and who was a male. So that means that we have, even though humans might not have a form after they die, we still are male and female. I don't understand that. I cannot explain it, but I know that I did understand it at that moment. And also there's no secrets. You know,
It can't be.
yeah, there's no secret. And you don't need
Right.
to hide anything, because when you are in this body, you are ashamed of anything you might do. You know, you might do a lot of crazy things, things that are not part of the normal guide of society. But when you are in the other body, it's like, who cares? You know, we are all the same. So we don't care about what this person did or not, or what you do, because everybody thinks the same way. You have no secrets. And I was amazed about that too. It's like for me, it's been like a learning process. I've been in many positions. They take me to different places, and they show me, and I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is witness it. And of course, eventually, that has a purpose. One day, I'm gonna be used to be doing some kind of work where I was a witness to this, and I have to say something. That's the way I feel. You know, the way they show me things, and in my head, I'm going like, why are they showing me this? I don't need to know this. I don't care about this, but they show it to me. And they tell me, you have to pay attention here. You have to learn this, and you have to be a part of this as a witness. So they have a purpose. I don't know the purpose, you know, because when you are in the other expansion of your consciousness, you are not Carlo. You are one with
Part of
everybody.
the collective. Part of the collective. From the chat room, Eric Moore asked a question: will the world soon know? I mean, of course, the world already knows, but will it be disclosed? Will we actually soon know that everyone now knows, it's common knowledge they exist? And if not, why? Will we know soon?
Well,
Does your experiences tell of any of that? And
I
what were some of the messages you received, sir?
one of them, in regards to whatever you asked me first, I'm gonna tell you that what I have learned, because they never said anything to me like, hey, listen, this is what's gonna happen, this is where you guys are at, etc. They don't tell you that those things. They're not human. Remember, humans were limited, so we go do little chits and chats here, and we communicate that way. We waste a lot of words. Humans talk too much. They don't. They Everything is through telepathy, and telepathy is a thought that you see this thought in your head, and that's it. You don't need to know anything else. You don't need words, because that delays your mind. We are limited, so we go by words. But what I have learned is that we're not ready. Humans are not ready and never going to be ready until you see that we forget the ego that we have. We have this big ego. We are bigger than God. And we always tell God what he has to do. The creator, whatever you want to call it, the divine creator, the source. We tell them what to do. That's the kind of humans we are. We have a bigger ego. And we are a little less than a little ant. And we still think that we're the best things in this whole universe. We don't even believe there is other lives in other worlds. We think that we are the only ones, and that's it. Money is our God. And until we don't see that, then humans can elevate to another level. But meanwhile, we're never going to get anything. They don't need to communicate with us. We are the ones who need to communicate with us, with them. We are the needy ones. So they're not going to come to the government and say, you know what, here, we have this uh, proposition for you. We want to do this. We want to exchange this and that, because everybody wants the power, and all they want is to know how they make uh, these arms, these guns to destroy our own race, to destroy ourselves. And they don't want that for us. So the communication with people like me, They choose that, like I said, I'm the least person that they could choose. When I see myself with, other people around that they're smarter than me, that they can have a better contribution to whatever they want to do with the world, I'm not the right person that they picked. But that's how they do. They pick the most insignificant people, I think, and and that's how they pick me. They pick me to see and witness whatever they want me to witness. But I have no say. I cannot say anything. But I do understand it. When I'm with them, and like I said, the ones that I have met, they're not gray like the grays that everybody describes. They're albino. And the only time I remember having a communication, well, not communication, an experience with grays is one day that I woke up in the middle of a room, like a doctor's room, and I was in the air, and they were turning me around, and I woke up right there. And I was in that reality. I wasn't in a trance or anything. All of a sudden, I woke up and I saw these aliens, and they were like really frightening and scary. But they were checking my body, they were checking my health, and they didn't do anything to me. That's all they were doing. And those were the real grays that I know from everybody people talks about. But I have most of my experiences of being angelical beings, and in a gray, one gray that was really a female, and I call Mrs. Farnsworth in my book, and she's the one who gave me a lot of information of wisdom to bring to the world. And what was that information was that same thing I've been telling you, that we need to break from the chains of the ego that humans have, that we put money before anything, before our values. Human beings don't have any more values. Money is our God. And we don't care if anybody kills anybody as long as we have our home and our goods and our money. And that's what they told me to preach, to come to the world and preach it. And the only way I can do it is through my books, because I don't see a way I can go and preach anybody. That I'm not that kind of person, that I'm talking until now. I'm a person, I'm talkative and all that, but I don't have this. I have it until now that I'm talking through shows like yours, and but I wasn't that person before. It took me 8 years for me to come forward, and do this book.
How does it feel?
It feels great. I have like this big rock on my chest, and I wanted to break it for a long time, but I didn't know how. I was embarrassed to be ridiculed, and but now I'm 57 years old. Do you think I care anymore? So
I just asked you, how does it feel? We're going to take a short pause if you don't mind. I'm going to play some music. Going to be right back. But let's do this on the back side of the break. How does it feel like when that? I know what it feels like when I have a book that I've been working on for years. Show up at the door and Mr. Blanchard, you signed for this, and you open that box, and that feeling is just like, what the? And so I wanted to start my next segment off with you, my friend, is how does it feel to be you when these abductions occur? Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Center of Light Radio, speaking to Carlo, and I won't try to pronounce his last name because it deserves respect and I'm not good at it. So my brother Carlo S, I'm going to try. No, I'm not. We're going to take a short pause from Lavender Soul. We are going back into the studio. I don't have a disc around me. Maybe I do. No. Of members of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, myself, Bernard Desec from the Vocal Arts Ensemble in Memphis. And we have this spiritual ambient, Led Zeppelin meets Enigma meets Anya kind of ambient music. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to play you a choice. Right now, we're in a space in life. We have to breathe. We just have to breathe. What else you can do? 2020. I said it the other night. Once we shift into 2020, January 1st, you will wake up and something in your experience is going to be different. My support suggestion to you is now, as Lavender Soul says, breathe.
You're welcome. Mhm.
Trust that I will guide you in whatever you do. Just remember to breathe and do your very best to live in love, give in love, be in love, and love you shall receive.
All my life I've lived astray, looking each and every way to be what I want to be and see what I want to see and want, knowing God is by my side. There is nothing I need to know. All the wisdom's in my soul. All along I knew the way. Time has told me every day to breathe, breathe and expand myself, to know there is no one else but me and God who's in my heart.
Welcome back to Center of Light Radio, yo. On a Tuesday night, into the new year, to the new decade. 2. The door's open. 2. You can walk through either one, and the volume's getting louder. Are we listening to the silence where there's a profound, deafening, powerful, as my guest Carlo said tonight, there's another language entirely that exists on levels most people can't understand and or hear. Simply, 1, they're just not interested, and that's okay. 2, they would like to, but they don't know how because of the monkey in the mind, the noise. So what I'm saying is, the place we're living in now today, the energy is high. Obviously, we can look out in the world and see all the nonsense that's happening. But yet, do we also see the beautiful stuff? And when we see both those without judgment, there's a third something, a third perspective, and it's called understand. That's where that language that you're speaking about, sir, isn't that where that exists, that place that's just wisdom and cosmic knowledge versus people just talking like I'm doing?
Yes, that's the same thing I'm talking about. Once that you have this communication with these beings in that level, you don't hear the background noise. And humans, we just waste words, and we get lost with words, and we confuse others with words just to get our ways. No human being is perfect, and everything we try to do good, it doesn't come out good because we always think of ourselves first. And that's one thing that we have to learn how to destroy that ego that we have in order to maintain this communication with these beings to go to the next level of humanity.
A friend of mine told me, my mentor, in fact, Mike, as well as my alien human hybrid friend Nucleus 8. I guess I'm asking you for validation, not that I need it. I'm just trying to see where we are with this. If we play with the same beings. He said that you can't run your script on these beings. Do you know what that means, run your script? You can't project your nonsense onto these beings. You just can't do that. You can. You're not going to like the result. And 1, they probably won't even participate. They'll probably show you something you couldn't handle. But we think, like you said, we talk too much. We have too many ideas. All we do is project and try to make the world something it's not. What is it like for you, sir, in your past or still when they happen? What is the feeling that happens within you when you are being taken or being lifted or being summoned to go to there? What is that like for you? What are those feelings?
My feelings are like you say, I have my own agenda too. And I want to propose, I want to bring my ideas to the table. But it's like if you're trying to communicate with a mouse and the mouse is trying to tell you his ideas, of course, in his mind, the mouse is right. And the other mice too, they hear the leader, the main leader, and they think he's right. But in the end, he's not right. So when I bring with my bags of goodies to do the exchange with these beings, and I enter into their dimension, and my mind catch up to the level, everything that I bring under my arm to exchange with them just drop to the ground. And I can't do it, not because I'm not allowed to do it, but because my reality, I open my eyes to my own reality, and I can see where I'm standing from, and when I'm standing on, and they can see me too. They can see me naked. They know who I am, what I'm about to say.
Did it take you long to get over that?
No, I realized it since I was a kid, but you still want to try to do, like you say, you still want to bring your ways, but your ways are always wrong because, like I said, if you already have this ego, I whatever they do to me and they explain it to me and I do understand it. And for real, I say, I'm going to die under these values and et cetera, et cetera. When you are with them, you completely change your mentality. It's like I always thought, it doesn't matter what I think, I'm going to steal something from them and bring it back to the earth so I can have my proof. But when you are with them, that's not necessary because it's so natural. They already been here before you. So it's like they already know what is good for us. And they just given us the option, to change. But I don't understand how is it that we're going to change if we haven't been changing for thousands of years. We always want, if you have two groups in a school, you know that they always going to have a competition. They always going to fight over something. I'm going to be better than you. That's the human point of view.
Do you think that because so much is happening on Earth, it has everyone's attention, that we don't have the free time, or we don't allow ourselves the free time to look up? Because if we were peaceful people, everything's flowing, we know everything's in order, what else is there? So naturally we begin to look upwards for expansion. You think there's just a lot of noise on Earth right now, and everybody's pro this and anti that. And I see people just squabbling even when they're not trying to fight. It's almost like this demonic nature is stepping out of man. It's like it's like this, both. The most beautiful and the most ugly is just starting to happen.
Yes, this is what happened. It's what I have learned, that whatever you do, there is these infiltrators on Earth. There's people that doesn't belong here, people from other realities that don't belong here, and they look like us, and they are the ones that come and confuse the whole thing. And we think that is another human like us, so we follow. Because humans are like that. We are like monkeys. If you eat an apple in a certain way, the monkey's going to follow you, right? That's the way humans are. We follow what others do. And if I think that you're a cool guy, I'm going to follow you because you are cool to me. And you are sort of a leader, a god to me. And I'm going to admire you. And I want to do what you do because you look cool. So that's how humans are. So somebody comes, maybe your mind is clean and you want to do good, et cetera, but somebody else that you think is cool is going to come and mess it up for you. And we all going to follow because, like I said, we are like monkeys. We do what others do. What we think, those people that we think they're better than us. But the truth is that nobody's better than anybody. Humans have to be humble. We have to be loving. And if you don't see that in a human being, it's somebody that learned the wrong ways.
If we can't see that glory and that beautiful essence in a human being, how can we ever recognize what Jesus, God, Buddha, anything that's beautiful, anything that means anything at all? If you can't see the light that gives breath to every human being, there's no way you can attain this very thing you claim that you're wanting. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Tell me about the juror.
The juror thing? Yes.
You were selected as a juror? Yeah? And what is that and why?
Well, I was in one of my experiences in this place where I've been taken to different worlds. And you know that these beings, these supreme beings, they have meetups. They have conventions like humans do. And they bring people from different times in the earth. It doesn't matter if you already died. You die in my reality, but you're still alive in another reality. So they bring people from all kinds of reality that are already chosen. And they have these conventions like humans do. You know how you go to a hotel and you meet up there. But the difference is that they don't charge you anything. The ride is for free. And you don't have to spend anything, and you don't have to worry about time because it's in your own time, and they take you there and they explain to you what's going on. and that you have to be a witness because there's going to be a judgment day, and you're going to be a part of the judgment. Exactly what humans do. We are a copy of what they do. Of course, the way we see things, they're wrong. If you give me money under the table, of course I'm going to be in your favor, but not there, not with them, because they have the real justice. They're fair and they're not unjust like humans. They cannot be bought, for corruption. We are the only ones that are corrupted. So I was told that I was going to be a part of this judgment day. And like I said, if I'm going to be a judge or I'm going to be a juror or I'm going to be something like that, I'm so afraid about all the things that I did, in my youth and throughout my life. And I said, I don't want to be a part of this because I'm guilty myself. But that's not the way it works. The way it works is that you were brought to this world with that mission, and you have to fulfill your mission, and that's what it is. So I wasn't the only one. I saw thousands of men like me in that place, in those places, and those places are right above the earth and in different worlds. And it was amazing. It was amazing to know that it doesn't matter what you think of yourself. They don't think of yourself the way you think of yourself.
Let me ask you this, brother. How were your sleep experiences that night? I know you have these far out experiences, or have, and they've decreased a little because you're getting older. And now you're actually integrating it, so you don't need to be out to have it. It's you, because we are the doorway. So that being said, I forgot where I was going with this. But when
Right.
are you going to be writing any more books?
Yes, I'm gonna have. This is my first book, Into the Dimensions. It's already on sale in Amazon, and for this show, we have it for $9.99. I have all my experiences and my thoughts and my dreams in here, and it's more detailed, of course. That this is an interview, but still, I don't have all my thoughts together because that takes time. You have to sit down and write it and take your time. Nobody bothers you, and you are on your own time, and you can find a lot of answers in there. Right now, in here, it's like whatever comes to my mind, and but I'm not too detail oriented in my own person here. But when, like I said, my the way I have my dreams now, it's like I'm very aware of my surroundings, and they come talk to me in my dreams, and I'm awake, and I wake up and I hear the voice, and sometimes are human voices that are talking to me, but I can't define what is a demon voice and what is a benevolent,
Benevolent, yeah.
benevolent beings. I'm sorry.
And you're good. So let me ask you this: when you are, we, for the whole show, we talked about them getting you, them getting you. Have you ever found yourself bored one night? So you know what? I'm going to come hang out with y'all. Come get me. I mean, have you ever intended to? No, you just want to go to sleep and get your rest to wake up to start your next day, kind of
I'm
thing.
actually a normal person. When I got divorced, I don't want to bring my divorce into this, but it took a big toll on me. And when I got divorced is when I was going through the most experiences in my life. I was like taken like almost every day, and I was experiencing the paranormal, evil beings, and all together at the same time. It's like I don't know how I'm still alive. How could I handle that? It was so difficult for me, and I had to get rid of my wife. In other words, it was hard for me, but it's the way it was. It was either I lose my mind or I lose my wife. So it was a really difficult choice for me in that moment in my life. But I was having experiences left and right, so much benevolent beings than evil beings, and the paranormal right in front of me, right in front of my eyes, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I'm glad that I'm still alive, that I made it, that I won that battle, and I'm still here, and it's difficult when everybody thinks of the world like something forever. The world is not forever. We come here for a few years and then we have to go. This is just a momentary time that we're here. Everybody wants to make it an everlasting life, but that's not possible. That's not going to be possible. We have to go somewhere. We have our time in the earth. We have to fulfill our mission. And if we don't, we're going to be miserable for the rest of our lives. Nobody's perfect in this world, and we're not going to be perfect. But the best that we can do with whatever we have, it's what they expect from us to pass to another level. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck. And we're being stuck for a long time because they keep lying to us. The world keep lying to us. This is the way you're supposed to live your life. Don't worry about bringing anybody into your house. There's people that have like 10 rooms in their homes, and they're not going to help anybody out of the street to bring it into their home. I don't want nobody to break my peace. I know a lot of people that they have so much money and they don't know what to do with it. And you walk the streets of LA. Come on, you can do something about it. These people died with these millions of dollars in their accounts. What do they want it for? And they don't help anybody. They don't do anything. And we all think about ourselves. We think about our ego. We think about being rich and wealthy. And we don't want to share nothing because this cost me. It didn't cost to anybody else. This is my own made. I make my own money. I make my riches. I'm not going to share anything with anybody. And maybe you see somebody next to you that is hungry on the street. You don't even spend 1 cent for coffee for this person. And we are all like that. Or we do something so everybody see what we're doing, and we look good to the eyes of everybody. And that's not good because doesn't come from your heart. You have to do things that come from your heart. And,
There's a much greater joy in that. It may take a little while. In other words, it's like when we live unconsciously, the wheel spins this way, and if we live really unconsciously, it spins really fast. When we start learning or start letting go or start doing things differently, the wheel slows down and it starts to get a little funky because there's no motion. It feels like you're falling, and you can resort to going back to the hamster on the wheel, or you can continue to let go. Then the wheel goes the other way. Then you start riding the cosmic current that says through your giving, there's a life energy that begins to happen. And I've done this many times. We all have, at least I'm sure you have as well. In fact, the other day I saw this lady on the corner, and I live in Memphis, and there's a lot of panhandlers. And I can tell by the shoes you wear, if you have a backpack or if you have whatever, I can assess the situation. And this lady was there. She was cold. She wasn't interested in begging, and she was just to herself. And I said, ma'am, and I was hoping to give like $2 or $3, and all I had was a $20 bill. So I gave, and this is not about me showing off. I'm telling you the story of the law of giving and receiving. And so I gave her $20. I said, God bless her. She's blah, 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 blah. So the next few hours later, I get a phone call to go play on Beale Street in Memphis to do a gig for $200. So I made 10 times fold of the 20 I gave, just out of nowhere. So my point is, when we live in this kind of life mode, right now Australia hurts me. It hurts.
Me too.
It hurts, man. It fucking hurts.
Yeah, it does.
It hurts.
I feel the same way. Animals are our brothers too.
Your thoughts? What do we do? What could be a contribution, even being so far away?
Well, I think that everybody has the answer in their own heart. You know what you can do. Everybody knows what they can do. And not only that, but if you also cooperate with money, I come from a third world country. And when we had these tragedies in my country, we had a big earthquake that killed thousands of people. I was only 10 years old. And I remember all these donations came to my country. And you know what? They gave us the least of the donations. The government kept the rest of it with the politicians. And that's happened to every other country in third world country. It happens. They sell it to the people. They don't give it to them. And then the government looks good. And what I can't understand is what what the countries that are donating these things don't understand that these things are going to be stolen by the government, stolen by the politicians, and they probably know, but they don't care. So if you send money to Australia to help, I'm not saying somebody's going to steal it, but I'm saying that we have to do whatever we find the best to do in our own hearts. One of the best things you can do is pray, because praying is the maximum expression in the universe, and that
Wow. Hang on. Let me digest that. Praying is the maximum expression of the universe or in the universe. Either way.
yes.
Wow. 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 It's because what happens to the person in the praying, I assume, that you revere, you humble yourself so much that your very being becomes one of prayer.
Yes, because if you come and you cooperate with money, let's say, which they need money also. I mean, I'm not saying don't give any money. What I'm saying is, if you express your heart through prayer, you are being very humble, because usually what humans think is, I'm going to give money. And then you forget about what happened in Australia because you gave money, you cooperated. I'm going to send food, I'm going to send this and that. And then you are out of that. You clean your hands, shake your hands, and that's it. You did whatever you have to do. But if you pray, you forget about your power, your monetary power, and you believe that those prayers are going to go through, and they're going to get there. Because believe me, there is an evil hand behind these fires. These fires just were not, they didn't occur just like that. There is an evil hand behind it. Somebody has something that want to do with it. Somebody wants to make an earning from all the tragedy. And we are just being the little sheep. We just turn the other way because we don't understand it. It's too big to understand.
It's a lot. And the thing is, it's going to get bigger. And the lives that we're living are comfortable lives. This is not doom and gloom. This is fact. I know many people know how energy works, how it moves, its motivation, what's the return, how quick, the alignment of the stars. There are many people who are in touch with these kinds of human dynamics and cosmic dances. But where we are now, it's a new game. And guess what? You have no choice. You are in the game whether you want out
Right.
or not.
That's right.
You ain't getting out. So the
Mm-mm.
best ploy you have is to go, heaven and earth. Ah, that's a prophecy I was told about many years ago for many years. Okay, let me jump into that idea. That would be a good start to find out how you can become a participant and a contribution to that which is going to happen. And with, if not, energies slash Gaia, cosmos, just because you are not playing that game fairly, you'll be shaken off like a dog shaking off water and fleas.
Hmm.
Would you agree with that? And that's not bad karma. It's not any of that esoteric slap you in trouble,
Hmm.
go say some penance kind of thing. It's a fact of spiritual law and how things come together from higher to lower. I mean, would you say so? Yes, please.
I agree. Yes, I do agree.
It's a lot. There's a lot moving, and it's tough to find center with all the beauty that's happening. Oh my God, this person did this wonderful thing. Oh my God, this person did this horrible thing. So we are just being slammed against these two walls, trying to find who the heck we are and what to do with it.
But also, we have to remember there is beauty in this world. Not everything is bad. And for three, five bad things, one beauty that we have from this universe makes it better. So we don't have to worry about, because remember, we are in this destructible body just for a few years and then we leave. So that's all it matters. We know that we're going to be here. This is a test for us to be in this earth. And whatever we do, we have to do, like I told you, we have to use our heart, our true heart, forget about our ego, and do our best to other human beings. You do one good thing to somebody, that person is going to do two good things to another person, and that's the way it's going to go. And we don't have to worry. I know thousands of people that I have met, and I met them only for a moment, and I know those people are good people because you can tell for one little thing that they do, and they inspire you to do good. So not everything is bad, not everything is lost, but we have a lot of enemies in this world, and they point in us to do the wrong things. But we cannot fall into their games. We have to know that we are temporarily here. We're not going to last that long, and we don't have to worry about dying in this body because there's more than that out there. And I already know that because I'm an experiencer. I know I've been out of my body many times, and I know that it's true. As a human, I don't want to leave this world. I want to live longer. But when you are outside of this body, you realize that it doesn't matter. You are eternal. You're an eternal being. You are a being of light, and you don't need this, this mess. But you have to do good while you're here, because that's the law of love.
I was actually about to ask you, beyond radio show, lights, camera, action, you and I are having a beer and some food. And I was going to say, guy, I got to get out of here. I got to go take care of something. And you want to tell me one final thought, just for you to me. What would that be?
Be good. That's my final thought. Nothing else is worth it in this life but being good.
Carlo, thank you. Everyone, my guest tonight, Carlo, please remind me again, how do you pronounce your last name?
Carnevalini.
That beautiful thing he said that I will work on. My guest tonight, we've been talking about Into the Dimensions, his book. He's going to write a second one. You can find that on Amazon. Show that cover, please, my dear friend. That blurry thing, pull it back a little bit, raise it up, and go to your left. Right there, right there. So that book, Into the Dimensions. Thank you very much, my dear friend. Keep us posted on what's happening with you. My wall is your wall. Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard, Center of Light Radio. I'm going to be following him some more, and I'm going to talk to him in the near future about getting him back. He's been all over the higher radio station with the large audiences. So I also want to say thank you to Peter for introducing me to Carlo, Center of Light Radio. Tomorrow night, everyone, I'm going to be doing a presentation yet. As I always do, I love them, on this subject here. Spirituality. It's a brand new word. I just coined it, made it up. Look up the word, the definition on Google of ology, meaning, and then look up ality, meaning. So the point is from spirituality to spirituality. I will get in all that tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on Center of Light. Let's call this, I always change the name, Center of Light Nonsense. I love it. I love it so much. I'll be seeing you guys real soon. Center of Light. Let me find my outro music. Where is my outro music? I like my outro music. Remember to live in the light. You live in the light already. There's nothing you can do about it. So if you're in the light, become conscious of that very aspect of yourself. That's the gig. There is nothing, there is no greater gig. Peace, love, and live in the light.